Today we're going to take a look at the Hanamar Automatic 200mm f3.5, the good, the bad, the ugly. Let's get into it. So Hanamar Automatic 200mm f3.5 is a heavy little lens, all metal construction, coming in at 775 grams. Still has a QC sticker. However, I can't find too much information about who made this lens, any other history information. I don't know how many pieces of glass or how many groups, no idea. This specific model is an MD mount, which we can adapt to most modern cameras. Build quality is very nice. Aperture goes from 3.5 to f22. Very nice click on this specific lens. These are old lenses. Manual focus. Also, the focus on this specific lens is very dry. It needs a little lubrication, so it's hard to focus. Takes a little bit of effort. It will focus just fine. And if you're looking to get really precise, well, the little tension there actually helps a little bit. Also comes with a built-in lens hood that'll slide in and out nice and smoothly, help block a little bit of lens flare if you happen to be in a very specific angle. So let's put this on the 5D Mark III and take it for a walk. So close focus on this lens with an adapter with glass is about 5 or 6 feet. If you have an adapter without glass, you're going to be looking at a much closer focusing distance. You're also going to be not able to focus at infinity. An adapter with glass will focus at infinity. And depending on what adapter you get, you might get a little vignetting on the edges as well. The adapter I'm using is a Photo-C, and I do notice that there's quite a bit of vignetting there. I'm also walking with the dog today. You can hear the geese in the background. The dog is doing whatever she wants to do. So the focus throw on this lens, there's close focus. We're going all the way around. Looks like maybe 200-degree focus. The focus on this specific lens is a little bit stiff. I've had other lenses that are this exact same model where the focus is a little different, so it probably just needs to be lubricated a little bit. This lens actually puts out very good color and sharpness. See a couple geese down here. Let me see if I can get a half decent photo. Of course, it's an MD mount, so there's no autofocus that you have to worry about at all. It's all manual focus. We go from 3.5 to f22. Very nice click. All of these old mechanical lenses have a real nice click for the aperture. It's one of my favorite things. I can just sit there and play with the aperture all day until I break it and have to fix it. Now you do get some chromatic aberration, some distortion, like I said, some vignetting depending on the adapter that you use. So wide open, this lens is plenty sharp. If you stop down a bit, you do get a little bit sharper. Great contrast. It's surprising. 200 millimeters. This lens is really taking some pretty fantastic photos, as far as I can see. I don't see too many issues. There are a lot of chromatic aberration when you're shooting into the sun. You also have to look out for some lens flaring. I mean, the lens is heavy. You can feel the difference between one of these and a sort of a modern lens. It's a full metal lens, lots of glass in there. You're just asking for it to be heavier by using an older manual lens. It's just the way that they're built. But you could also maybe drop it off a building and it may not hurt it. So, so it's kind of a give and take situation there. So we're focused at infinity here. This is directly pointing to the sun. We've got some flaring going on. We're a little bit overcast today, so it's not direct sunlight. You can see that you get a little bit of interesting flares. It's not too crazy. There's also a built-in lens hood with this, which helps a little bit. If I'm sort of at this angle, it'll help a little. And then you can see some flaring come in as I start to turn toward the sun. Now if you want to look at the actual bokeh this lens produces, let's take a look here. I've got some leaves. I'll try to get a good photo and get a good example of that. So I believe this lens will take a 62 millimeter filter. Yeah. And then the overall length, we're looking at about 143 millimeters. Like I said, you also need an adapter for this lens since this is MD, unless you're shooting it on MD, which is the best case scenario, but you're likely not. If you want to adapt this to Canon, Nikon, Sony, something like that, you'll need an adapter to do that. They do sell them online. It'll just be whatever your mount type is. So in my case, since I'm using a Canon, it'll be an MD to EF mount, and that's what you'll search for. The type of mount, how expensive the mount is, whether the mount has glass in it or not, the adapter will greatly determine how the lens functions. It'll determine how far it focuses, whether it'll focus to infinity. So if you wanted the most benefit, you'd buy probably the most expensive, most accurate, you kind of get what you pay for lens mount adapter. This is the way to go. Now, there's another thing to be said about adapters. You can also get chromatic aberration. You can get some distortion. You can get some vignetting. Vignetting is the most common problem with these, especially on longer lenses. Obviously, you can crop in post to reduce that vignetting. Buying a more expensive adapter can sometimes fix that vignetting. Or, you know, if you want to embrace the sort of vintage look, you can just embrace the vignetting. But it does have vignetting all the way through the aperture range. Doesn't matter what you do to it. You can get away with the adapters without glass in it in some other mounts, not an MD, unless you plan on using it kind of like a rangefinder where you're going to, you know, sort of set your focus and then you're going to move your body in order to get focus, which is an option. You can still get great photos that way. It is just a little different than the conventional camera use. Before we had autofocus and or helical focus, there were rangefinder lenses where you would have to move the actual lens to gain focus. If you want to shoot macro or you want to put extension tubes on this, so maybe you want to focus at, you know, 5 feet or 10 feet, a little out of this lens's normal range, you can actually put, you know, extension tubes on there. These are pretty easy to get. They pop right on. Your mount goes on first. You pop the extension tube on there. You can go as far as you want to get kind of the focus you want. But once again, you're going to be using this lens like a rangefinder from your object to the actual lens physically instead of using your focus ring. So my overall thoughts on the Hanimar 200mm 3.5, I think it's a good buy for the money. You can get these anywhere from $30 for a little bit junkier copy to $50 or $60 for a really nice copy. I think they take decent photos for the cost. Also, all the problems with the lens, the vignetting and the chromatic aberration, any distortion, most of that stuff can be fixed in a program like Lightroom or whatever editing software you want to use. Quality on the lenses do vary a little bit. Quality control back when these lenses were made was not amazing. But overall, I think this takes fantastic photos for the money. You'd be hard to get good photos for $30 anywhere. So this might be one you want to check out if you're looking for a 200mm. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave any comments. If you know the history of this lens or any like it, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'd love to know more information. I love this stuff. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll talk to you later. That dog cam.